In May 1925, 6 of the wealthiest scrap metal dealers in France were pulled into an ultra-secret meeting at a luxury Parisian hotel. A high-ranking government official sat across from them with a jaw-dropping announcement. The French state could no longer afford the Eiffel Tower. It was rusting, it was falling apart, and it had to be torn down. One of the men in that room was about to buy 7,300 tons of the world's most famous iron. There was just one massive problem. The man selling it didn't work for the government. He didn't own a single bolt of the tower. He was an international con artist using 45 different aliases, a fake passport, and a scar on his left cheek. His name was Count Victor Lustig, and he was about to pull off the greatest scam in human history. To understand how anyone could fall for this, you have to look at Paris in 1925. The Eiffel Tower was never meant to be permanent. It was built for a temporary World's Fair, and by the mid-1920s, it was in horrible disrepair. It needed 60 tons of paint every 7 years just to stop the rust. In fact, the city was so desperate for cash that they actually let the car maker Citroën turn the tower into a giant, flashing neon billboard. So when Lustig read a newspaper article complaining about the tower's maintenance costs, his eyes lit up. He forged official stationery from the Ministry of Posts and Telegraphs, slapped on a counterfeit government seal, and booked the most expensive suite at the legendary Hôtel de Crillon. He invited the city's top scrap metal brokers. 5 of them were skeptical, but one man was perfect. His name was André Poisson. Poisson was a newly wealthy provincial businessman with a massive inferiority complex. He desperately wanted a historic deal to cement his legacy in the elite Paris business circles. Lustig was a master of psychology. He famously wrote a list called the 10 Commandments for Con Men. His #1 rule? Be a patient listener. He let Poisson do all the talking, absorbing the man's insecurities. But right as the deal was about to close on May 13th, Poisson's wife grew suspicious. Why the extreme secrecy? Why the rush? Sensing the multi-million-dollar deal slipping away, Lustig pulled a move of absolute genius. He called Poisson to a private room, lowered his voice, and leaned in. He complained about his low government salary and hinted that if Poisson wanted to guarantee his bid won, he would need to give Lustig a little something extra under the table. This is mind-blowing. A fake official asking for a real bribe, but it worked flawlessly. In Poisson's mind, a corrupt politician was completely normal. It proved the deal was authentic. Poisson handed over 1.2 million francs for the tower, plus an extra 70,000 francs for the bribe, worth roughly 4.4 million euros today. Lustig took the cash, hopped on a train to Vienna, and waited for the police sirens. Weeks passed. Lustig checked the newspapers every morning, but nothing. Total silence. Why? Because André Poisson was so profoundly humiliated that he chose financial ruin over public mockery. He never went to the police. Lustig realized that if there was no police report, the tower was technically still for sale. 6 months later, he returned to Paris, checked into the exact same hotel, and tried to sell the Eiffel Tower a second time. This time, the new mark went straight to the police, and Lustig had to flee to America. In the US, his luck finally ran out. After running massive counterfeiting rings and even successfully scamming Al Capone, the Secret Service caught him in 1935 after a wild car chase in Pittsburgh. He was sent to Alcatraz as inmate number 300 when Lustig died in federal custody in 1947. His clerk filled out his death certificate. For his occupation, they wrote just 2 words: apprentice salesman. Today, the Eiffel Tower is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. But for a few weeks in 1925, it belonged entirely to a man who didn't own a single piece of it.